trickier than that, especially this one. He led 100 goblins, and goblins don't die that easily if they are in command of 100 of them.
I love
Put them in front of me.
This is
They'll die
fucking
easily
awesome.
enough.
Love it, guys.
This goblin is mine alone to kill.
Whoa.
I'm also hoping to find my dragon family, for they worship Tiamat, and they must die.
Oh. Ooh, they worship Tiamat. Ooh, the T word. Oh.
They left me to die out in the snowy mountains. And thankfully, my adoptive father, a human named Dragon, adopted me before his soldiers tried to kill me. I owe everything to him. More than just my life.
Sad story.
Interesting. So Misty leans back. She's been definitely paying attention. Pushes back her hood and finally speaks up. I turn to Kadojo. And, yeah, it's Kadojo. Right. Okay, cool. I can remember names. Cool. I hold up my hand, and I summon a bit of magic. A cantrip that can create an illusion in my hand. An image. And I create what I know to be a goblin, and I decide to ask a little further. Tell me a little bit more about his appearance. I want to make sure that we all know who you're looking for.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a good chance to look at him during the heat of battle. All I know is that he's missing a hand. And he has several deep wounds.
One of the viewers said you have the stranger.
What?
Huh?
They said, hello, my name is Kadojo, and here's my petrified goblin hand I named the stranger.
I don't get it.
Never mind, dude. What do you do with the hand?
I put it back in my sack. I don't get it.
You,
Oh dear Lord.
You have fun with your hand. You have fun with your hand, and then you have the stranger, because it's not your hand. Never mind. Oh my goodness.
I snap my fingers and the image disappears from my hand. No longer very interested in talking about goblins missing hands and what he does with them.
Oh hell no! I
In my
did not do
village.
that.
In my village, they call that stranger danger.
Oh come on! Well, Dave, you gotta get a new viewer.
Don't you just love how things go wacky like that?
I couldn't, guys. I'm that was just too funny. I just literally started. I'm like in tears. That was so funny to me, but I don't know. So anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please continue with your. I want to hear this description. Or I mean, you didn't know what the goblin looked like?
No, all I know is that during the heat of battle, you don't get a good chance to get a clear view of him. All I know is that he's got a missing hand and several deep wounds that will turn into scars across his body.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'll scoot on over
Oh,
to.
balls! That was crazy, dude.
Let's see, Guy. You're playing Zelos, is it? Is that how you pronounce
crazy.
it?
That's me, Zelos.
Zelos. Okay, Zelos. So I scoot over to Zelos and I hold out my hand towards his drink, and I'm gonna say, is the ale or wine up to your desires, or do you prefer that it be a little bit more to your liking?
This is quite fine, thank you, but if you're offering to improve my cup, I'm going to give you my cup.
All right. Tell me about your favorite drink, and I'll see what I can do for you.
Ooh, nice.
I like that sparkling red wine that they make up in the Waterdeep country. The vineyards there are excellent.
That was crazy.
Fabulous. Well, I cast another cantrip, prestidigitation. I am able to flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour, so I flavor your wine accordingly and ask if that is more to your taste.
Excellent, excellent. A vintage for all to share. And we're going to pass
so
this cup
proper.
around.
Sis is
Have
the
a little more and talk a little more.
Zelos is the voice of reason.
Fabulous. So Misty's obviously trying to get to know you guys a little bit better, but is oddly silent about sharing her own history. Considering she's dressed in dark clothes and seems to be trying to get you guys to trust her, you can take that as you will.
We've already discovered she's very talented.
At least I'm magical.
How about you, the dwarf? Tell us your story.
Dwarf's kind of eyes narrow as the half-elf kind of speak to him. Not here for riches, not here for fame. I'm here to try and restore glory to my clan.
Ooh.
We've suffered some terrible events recently. And the only way I can reverse almost what you would call a curse. He kind of glances over at the spell slinging warlock as he's saying this.
A curse.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
This curse needs to be lifted. The only way I can do that is to bring glory back to my clan. That's all I'm concerned with. Kinda goes back to sharpening his axe. And looks down. And that's kinda starts.
You little scumbag! I got your
sharpening the
name!
axe
I
away.
got your ass!
Quite aloof, quite disinterested at the moment, but he is listening to what's happening.
Thank you, Trial, for the
But he doesn't
follow-up.
really want to divulge any more than that at the moment. How about you, Bard? See you've got a flute there. Can you play it, or is it just for show?
Oh, man.
Oh, I can
Oh,
definitely
nice.
play this. Hey, I can definitely play this. Didn't you hear me just a couple of minutes ago?
Yes, Bard. Why don't you play us a little something?
Okay then. Do you have a preference for instruments? Flute, lute, or maybe a pan flute?
I enjoy pure pressure, so whatever you would like.
Well then, here you go.
I like it.
Bravo, bravo.
Bravo,
A
bravo.
lively tune, a man could dance to that.
And a couple females
thank
come
you.
over. A couple dwarves come over, and they hand everyone more drink and tell everyone to drink up, and pass some plates of food around as well. A nice mix of potatoes and other vegetables that were foraged before everyone broke camp. Actually, quite a delightful meal.
The dwarf basically downs his ale and just starts ravenously devouring the meal in front of him.
What do you eat?
Maybe-
With your fingers and shit?
Yeah, man, he's not. No airs and graces here. He just looks over at the bard and
You
says,
little scumbag!
maybe
I
I'll get
got
my
your name!
pipes out
I
for
got
you
your
later."
ass!
Thanks, Dreiser, for the follow. Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grabber.
And the two half-elves look at each other and eyebrows go up.
Agreed.
Awesome
My
job.
bagpipes. That's what I mean.
Oh, if only I had something for bagpipes.
No, that's quite all right.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, my story is.
He's nervous, guys.
Ju-
Stormwolf gets nervous.
I was picked up as a young dragonborn outside Baldur's Gate
He's doing a good job.
by a travel and entertainment troupe. Person who picked me up, his name was Norwald Spellloyal. who taught me everything I know about playing all these instruments that you see me carrying around.
Interesting. Interesting. Is there
You
more that
little
we should know
scumbag.
about you?
I got your name. I got your
I'm
ass.
getting to that.
Q Guy 123, thank you.
Well,
You're fine, bud.
I know. Spent about a year training with all these various instruments. Yeah. Had another person who was just as good as I was. Always tried to outperform him. No matter what it took, always tried to do that. But even while I was doing that, all I cared about was pleasing the crowd. Though after many years of performing with this troupe, I got pretty much kicked out. Got into a fight with
He will road a nut, so it'll be fine.
my rival, whose name was Kevkes Waveharp. Pretty much almost burned down the entire tent.
What, you didn't have Battle of Banjos?
Oh, we actually got more into a fist fight and pretty much knocked over a lot of oil lamps, pretty much almost burned down the tent, so,
You brought the house down.
in a matter of speaking, yes. But not when we were in the middle of a performance. This was late at night after a performance. And the only reason why I'm out here is seeking more songs and stories, and just trying to pass along my own musical knowledge and try to please the crowds.
Many bards know a little magic. Revgar, what can you tell us of your magic?
Ooh.
Okay, I'm going to do a little minor cantrip, minor illusion, and I'm going to make a trying to think of sound appear behind. Actually, you know what? I'll just say I'll make a few notes of sound behind the road.
Ah, I see. You play well.
You guys actually feel inspired when he plays that song as well. You guys sort of feel like a tingling sensation throughout your body.
I think I like that one.
Zoinks!
A tune surely for good wine.
Aye, I'll drink to that.
So you guys have had a lot of good drinks tonight. You've had quite a few plates of food. What else are you guys doing?
I think after
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think after a couple drinks, Misty might be willing to share just a little bit more.
Whoa.
So I look around at my new group of companions, as it were, and I catch
is
their
great,
attention
guys.
by making the fire that we're sitting around blaze up.
Oh.
And I say,
The dwarf starts and just kind of almost edges back a little.
I kind of smile, maybe a little unnervingly, and say, all that you really need to know about me, truthfully, is that there are powers beyond mortal comprehension at play. And I would not do anything to upset those that are looking after me. I lean back, I smile, I say, I really doubt that will happen though. So, in the meantime, they'll work for you.
You guys can also start to notice everyone in the party. You guys are, some other of the other camps small camps are starting to turn in, and you can also see that all of the guards that were part of the caravan as well, they're kind of talking with one another. Nothing seems to be happening. It just seems like they're switching pretty much they're switching guard positions, and looks like they're doing the watches and everything. You guys haven't had to do anything like that. You're pretty much just have been traveling. Several wagon wheels have fallen off, and so that's how you guys have become acquainted. But that's pretty much what you see going on around you. And that by now, the crickets are starting to chirp, and you can hear a bear every once in a while, or maybe a plains lion or something roar.
Or a wolf howling.
Or a wolf howling for storm wolf. As the moon is up into the sky, and you can hear the ooh. Never mind. Stormwolf is a huge wolf fan, if you guys couldn't tell. Alright, so what else are you guys doing?
Dave, I'm gonna go over to where the watch is and ask them if they need any help with the watch or any volunteers with the watch.
So you walk up to a couple gentlemen there. They're humans, and they tell you that they have the watch handled, but you're more than welcome to hang out. They said, we haven't even had to pull our weapon once.
Question for you, Dave.
Sure.
In our journey thus far, well, I guess you kind of asked it. Would it make sense for us to want to stay up and watch as well, or has it been a fairly uneventful trip, so much so that sleep is probably not a bad idea?
Well, actually, it was pretty stressful when you guys were on the tradeway. The tradeway basically goes from pretty much from Waterdeep to Baldur's Gate, I believe. And in certain parts of the tradeway, there's a lot of bandits, especially probably the first 100 miles from Waterdeep, between Waterdeep and Daggerford. There's a lot of bandits that stalk the paths in the tradeway, and that's pretty much why the contingency of guards were there in the first place. So, but then again, why don't you guys give me your first roll? Why don't you guys give me a perception check as well?
Oh man, the dice come out.
Yes, give me some perception checks. And you guys are talking around the fire as well, and you see what appears to be upper echelon, maybe royalty, some aristocrats. Oh, you guys are
20s are living to me.
Yeah,
20s are living me tonight.
yeah. So basically, Kadojo and Ralph, you think that there could be something probably valuable with this caravan, or maybe someone of importance because of the amount of guards. But it's like the guards actually halted the caravan this night because there's really no threats in this area, and plus it's starting to become the end of the journey anyway. You guys have been traveling for 2 weeks, so they're just pretty much resting the horses for the night. And then they tell you tomorrow you'll be at your final stop before you get to Om. And it is you're going to be stopping at a small town called Greenest, and you're going to be stopping there, picking up some more passengers as you make the way to Om, and then the caravan from there is going to go on to Calimport, which is even further south along the western coast of Faerun.
You said Dream Mist?
I did not say. I said Greenest.
Greenest.
Yeah, Greenest. And actually, I have a map. I'd like to actually show you guys I'm going to show you guys the map of the Sword Coast. So you guys can pretty much enlarge the map to about 120%. You guys were all the way up here in the north at Neverwinter.
Hang on, I got a blank sheet.
It's blank. Oh, there it is. It had to load.
Yeah, it's sorry about that, guys.
There we go.
So can everyone see Neverwinter now? Everybody
Yep.
should be pinged up there. Well, you guys basically traveled by boat, Neverwinter to Waterdeep, and then you set out by caravan along the tradeway. You can see here the tradeway, and you basically went all the way down past Daggerford, Dragonspear. You picked up more folks for the caravan at Subar, Trail, Scornable, and now that you've kind of started heading west, you are almost to the small town of Greenest, and then it'll be another day or so, and you should be to Alm within a day after tomorrow. And then from there, the caravan's going to continue to head south to Calimport, but they're going to be leaving without you because that's why you're in the caravan, is to get to Alm and search for an adventure, and plus there's several other reasons as well. Party members are wanting to go down there. So that's pretty much that's the Sword Coast, and that's pretty much the route that you've taken. I probably should have showed this to you a little bit ago, but that's pretty much that's it. But like I said, you guys notice that there's probably some aristocrats, and there's also some extra hired guards. No one of supreme importance or anything like that, but just pretty much people with money.
Is there a lot of goods wagons as part of this convoy, or is it mostly just passengers?
Yeah, there's about 20, probably say a couple dozen wagons, small, large. Some wagons are actually part of the caravan, but there's also, well, they're all part of the caravan, but some are actually individually owned by families, and there's along the way, there's been several of the actual wagons breakdowns. They basically did not have the supplies to fix them, so basically the caravan took what they could off of the wagon, left the rest behind, and then the family pretty much joined up with another one, and you guys continued to travel. But it's not like they haven't left anyone behind or anything like that.
But it's not like the caravans are filled with trade goods or anything.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's plenty of wagons with trade goods. Supposedly, well, they're stopping on these at the towns like Daggerford. I mean, they're trading goods, picking up other things, and moving on. Also losing passengers, gaining passengers, and whatnot. So it's kind of like a pretty cool system that they have. And this caravan usually travels the tradeway once every 6 months or so, and it usually stops at all these places along the way, gets to Calimport, takes several months to do this, and then it makes its way back up the same way, and then it just pretty much rinse and repeats the process, and just the caravan just travels along the tradeway the entire year round, basically.
Dave, is the camp set up in some kind of defensive formation, or is it just skewered all over the place?
No, all of the wagons are pretty much still in line, but you can see the campsites for the people that are both walking in and part of if they're part of this wagon or part of this wagon. There's a couple dozen campfires as well, but there's actually quite a few guards. There's probably a couple dozen guards as well, and they're all pretty much from Waterdeep, part of the Waterdeep Guard. So obviously it took some money for them to to get the guard, to hire them for a multi-month expedition traveling back and forth.
I asked the guard if there's anyone of note in this caravan.
No one of importance, basically. I mean, he mentions just some rich snobs from Waterdeep, and he doesn't say that very loud either. He just kind of looks over towards you and says, just a couple rich snobs.
The dwarf will just chuckle.
Okay, I just tell him to be careful. Evil usually strikes when you least expect it. Since we're so close to our goal, they should be striking soon, if at all.
Yeah, just a couple days away now. It's been a very long. Actually, it's been a pretty uneventful travel. Just because of the sheer amount of soldiers with the caravan That's probably been the intimidation from stopping kobolds and bandits and goblins and whatever other type of threat that would usually consume a caravan. But this is pretty much a fairly nicely fortified caravan. Lots of soldiers.
Okay, in that case, I go back to my bedroll. Not take out my swords, but take the swords and sheath and just lay them next to me, have them ready just in case.
All right.
I got an idea.
Sure.
Zelos, are you still awake around the campfire?
I'm looking at you.
Whoa.
Excellent. All right, so Misty saddles on up to Zelos and
Whoa.
kind of in a hushed voice says, "I bet you some of these travelers of ours probably got some pretty trinkets. Did you notice the one on that one over there?" I kind
Whoa.
of nod my head in the general direction of another campfire.
Ooh. Ooh.
There's too few of us here in this caravan for a theft. I'm afraid it would come home to roost very quickly. We don't want trouble before we reach our destination.
Whoa.
I
Ooh.
just figured a little trinket, nothing of value, might keep things interesting.
I like that.
Let's walk together, and you point the trinket you're interested in. We'll see if we can't
This is good.
find a better use for it.
Excellent. Exactly what I wanted to hear. So, Dave, is there any way we can kind of walk around and see if there's anything worth, anything shiny worth pilfering?
Well, there's quite a few campfires around, and there are guards pretty close among the, spaced out pretty evenly around the entire caravan. But yeah, there's like I said, there's some fires have gone out, with sleeping individuals around them, but nothing distinctive as in flashing blue and red neon lights saying, "Hey, shiny here, take me." You know what I mean? Everything is, people are in traveling clothes. There's lots of wagons as well around, but nothing in plain visual sight that with the big neon sign saying, "Hey, steal me."
Nothing obvious, you say? Okay.
Nothing obvious.
I think I can change that.
A warlock. Oh boy.
Well, we visited other campfires before. Let's just wander through the camp, and we'll say hello to those still awake. And if something meets your fancy, we'll think about it.
All right. Okay, so Dave, a little out of character.
Sure.
Help me find someone that has something that obviously isn't very exciting at all, but probably is some sort of minor item that they have on them.
Like what are you looking for? Are you looking for something that's actually on an individual, or are you looking for something on maybe one of the carts of the caravan, or maybe at a campsite, or maybe there's lots of pots hanging over fires as well. There's plenty of